Mahina, and welcome to Voices of Truth One-on-One with Hawaii's Future, brought to you by the Kiwani Foundation. I'm Ahu Keikahu Cardwell, and here we are today on the island of Maui. Wait until you see where we are and who we're going to be visiting with right now. So let's go on over here and meet him. Oliver, aloha.
Aloha, aloha.
How are you?
Fine, fine.
Oliver,
Maikai.
Oliver Dukelow, did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Wonderful. This is a stunningly beautiful place here. This is where you live, huh?
It is.
Tell us exactly where we are. We're in a valley, yes?
We're in a place called Kapalalau
Kapalalau,
in the valley of Kahakaloa.
Kahakaloa Valley.
Yes.
Wow, but this is your property. This is where you live. I mean, look at this.
Well, this is the land that I take care of.
This is the land that you take care of, and it takes care of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Wow, can we walk up here and kind of see what's up here and take a tour?
Sure, sure.
Wonderful, super. You know, the reason we wanted to visit with you, Oliver, was because we heard you're one of those folks, lucky folks, who is into sustainability and getting off the grid, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Wow. So everything we see up here is pretty much off the grid, meaning you create your own electricity and power and grow your own food, and what am I leaving out?
Not much. There's much more to do, but
Yep.
basically we're trying to be completely off grid. We're, I'd say, 50-60% off grid
Really?
right now.
And so how soon will you be 100%?
I would say in about before the summer begins.
So you're
I
real
should
close.
yes, yes.
You're
yes,
like
not far
a
away.
few months away.
Yeah,
Wow.
not far away.
Wow. Wow. Oliver, this is your house where you live here?
Yes.
How long have you been here? How long have you lived here?
Well, I've been in the valley since 1974,
Long time.
cutting down the trees, clearing the land, opening up the upper section that I first stayed in. Did a complex there, set up some buildings there so that we could work with children and share it with other people also. And as the years went on, we were able to acquire this place and do the same thing here.
Did you build this?
I had a friend build it.
You had a friend build it for you. I'm sure you got a permit before you started to build, huh?
No,
Really? No.
no.
But that's illegal.
No, it's not illegal.
Really?
There's no fire hydrant. There's no county road. There's no electricity. If they were giving me these things, then certainly I would get a permit. But out here, you use your own creativity and also be accountable for what you're doing.
Yeah.
So the house that you see back here in the background is very solid, built very solid. And naturally, I want my family to be safe. I want my friends to come and visit me to be safe. So all the buildings here are just about built to code anyway.
I'll tell you what, it looks solid as a rock to me. How long has that house been there? How old is it?
It's 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
not old at all.
Wow.
I built it for my grandchildren, for my mo'opuna.
Did you?
So when they come here, they think it's a gymnasium.
All right, very
And I
good.
have 22, by the way, so
22 grandchildren.
22 grandchildren.
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
Yeah, they come, their friends come. A wonderful place to be.
This has got to be great. This is great when they're all here running around and doing their stuff. Oliver, I have heard that you're a sovereignty activist. Is that accurate or not? An independence free Hawaii activist?
Well, I believe we're all sovereign. I believe I'm more of a naturalist.
What's
naturalist would be keeping things in their natural order. I've always been that way. So when you look at the land here, you don't see any cement. Being compatible with what's around you, and how you live. For me, I prefer living in the country, being self-sustaining. It has more meaning. I surely understand that not everyone can do that, but working the land, working with plants, has sure given me, I've learned how to be more patient in doing things. I'm a very impatient person, but it's taught me how to be more patient. And it's answered a lot of my questions. So for me, the land is good for me.
So when you say you're a naturalist, you're really saying is like in balance with everything, and everything is in balance with you, yes?
Yes, and also when you look at our laws that are being made, um, the revised statutes of Hawaii that are being created here, the statutory jurisdiction really creates privileges rather than rights.
Aha.
So my right to be here comes from the Kumukanawai. It comes from the ancient law of the land.
Those are laws that go way back, thousands of years back.
And we can incorporate that into God's laws,
Right.
which are very basic,
Which are
or
timeless.
common law.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where it is. That's where the truth is. The rest of it is rhetoric. And if we can understand that, then we know how to deal with it in a positive way, not a negative way.
Gotcha.
So my whole thing here is dealing with things in a positive way.
Gotcha. All right, so you're a naturalist. I see a lot of natural stuff here. Can we go up and see what's around the bend?
Sure.
Because this
sure.
sure looks gorgeous.
Well, it's fun. It's fun doing.
That's great. That's great.
Come on, Shaka.
A lot of people, most people don't even know this is here, yeah?
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely gorgeous. Come on back with us. You got to see this now. Oh wow, look at the pond. My goodness.
So here we have a taro terrace that was covered with trees. Naturally, this whole place was full of trees. So we knocked the trees down, but we couldn't plant the taro in here because of the root structure. So I thought of filling up the place, letting the wood rot, and then take out that. So it's been 5 years, but then we created a fish pond. And I thought, for a kuleana, you don't see many kuleanas that have a full life cycle. So here on this kuleana, the last phase of it, I'd like to create the full life cycle by having fish in the pond that we can eat. And the fish that I'm looking at right now is tilapia.
Oh, wait a minute. Tilapia, isn't that an invasive species?
Yes, it is. Only because of poor management. My whole thing is, we can't look at the ignorance of what people say is. We need to roll up our sleeves and get into the project and understand what we're doing so that it can become a positive thing and not a negative thing. So I'm going to be creating a double screen here on this end here so that there's no way of the tilapia going into the mainstream.
Gotcha.
And keeping the tilapia confined in the pond. Now the tilapia is one thing. What do you feed them? You know, when you hear about aquaponics and stuff like that, aquaculture, people talk about, well, you have to have pumps. I'm not reinventing the wheel. Our ancestors used the gravitational flow to create what they were doing.
Right.
And they certainly had fish in their ponds.
Oh, yes, they did.
The problem is that technology has been lost. We don't know how they did it, how they acclimated the fish from the muliwai and brought it up here. So we're trying to create something here that's pretty unique.
How are you going to feed the fish?
Well, that's why I have my Rhode Island Reds.
Your Rhode Island Red.
Yeah, hens. You feed the Rhode Island Reds papaya, banana, coconut, rice, all the natural things. You dry it up. You feed that to the fish.
So wait a minute. You feed the Rhode Island Red hens papaya, banana, coconut, and then rice, and it comes out the other end.
Right, and take that,
dry that up, and you feed that to the fish.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have a complete life cycle here.
Wow.
We raise our own bananas, papayas. Of course, we have to buy rice, but you know, that's immaterial. Grass, you know, you're going to give them greens.
Yep.
A lot of that here. So everything is here. Make use of the resources. Never deplete them, but make use of them.
Very good.
So that's the whole part about being responsible in a kuleana.
So what you're saying is an invasive species isn't harmful if you manage it right, correctly. Wow.
Very shortly, I'll have Hike Maui coming up. They're an invasive species. Or are they really? And here I am having a tour group coming up here, yet with good management, Nothing wrong with that.
So that's right. The people, the hikers, are just as invasive as the tilapia.
Yeah.
But not really if they're managed right.
Yes.
Wow, how
Yeah,
about
it
that?
depends on their activity.
How about that?
So for us, it's educating these people
Yes.
and giving them a deeper appreciation for the place
Great.
and for the culture.
Oliver, this looks beautiful up here. I notice you got some tourists up here.
Yes.
Looking at this, these are hikers or something that are going to go
These guys are from the boat.
from the cruise ship, you mean?
Yeah, from the cruise ship in Lahaina, and they come all the way out here to see this.
Wow.
So my whole thing is to share it with them so they get a deeper appreciation for the land here.
For the land, the culture,
Yeah,
and what's going
because they're on the ocean,
Yeah.
and now they get on the land. I'm sure they don't want to see the Waikikis or the Konas or the Lahainas. You know, they want to see
Right.
what the land looks like.
That's
and
right.
so they like it.
That's right.
They
Well,
like it.
I want to see it too, and this is absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at this here. This is just amazing. Just amazing. Can we go up here?
Sure,
Where they
sure.
are? Lead the way.
Now these patches here, Uncle Moki, when he was in his late 60s, opened up all of this land. So he made something happen here. And I took care of it at one time, and now this guy, Donald Dukelow, is taking care of it. So it's under good hands, and that's how the land should be. Thanks to our kupuna, to our elder, who came up here and showed us how, you know, and now we have a chance to spread it out.
So the way is to pass it from generation to generation to generation
Yes.
in Malama and take care of it.
Yes.
Each generation for the present time, but also for the future generation as they pass it over.
Right, right.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
you know, when you take care, you think it's a lot of land, but when you do it on a regular basis and it becomes a way of life, it's more of a labor of love. And you can take it away from me. You can take all this away from me. I got to go someplace else. You cannot take the love that I put into it. So that, for Uncle Moki, for Donald Dukelow, for all of us that do it, that's how we feel. You have to feel that way. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So for us, it's just a way of life. And it's a good way of life. It keeps us healthy. It gives us a good perspective on life. I just love doing it.
I never would have guessed. Years ago, you used to do other things, like you were a cop. You were a police officer at one time, right?
I was a police officer in the late 60s, 67 to 1970.
Here on Maui.
Here in Maui, I was a fireman from 1970 to 1980.
Wow.
And then I was a liquor investigator, retired as a liquor investigator back in the 90s.
So you're a guy that knows how to or work within the system,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
then also outside of the system.
Well, you get two different perspectives,
Yes.
and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just when one infringes upon another, and then you got to weigh your values and figure out what you're going to do. I chose to do this.
When you came to that crossroads, what was that like for you?
I was already doing it, so it was just spending more time doing this.
So you were up here already doing it.
Yeah,
And you just phased out of one and
and got into another.
got into the other.
Um,
Ever look back?
Never. I'd do it again. I'd do it again. Anytime anybody says, you know, I wouldn't do the same thing again, well, you're not enjoying your life.
Yeah.
The whole part is to enjoy your life. Otherwise, what are you living for?
Yeah.
And sharing it also.
Yeah.
And when you can share it, it makes sense.
Yeah. Here's somebody also who's enjoying his life right here.
Yeah, he watches me while I work. Shaka, you're the bomb, Shaka.
Good old Shaka.
Kahakaloa Valley is about 6 miles long, so it goes back to Mount
Wow.
Eke, where our
Way
water
back.
source is. Yeah.
Way back.
These patches, you go for an hour hike, and then you come to some more patches, and you ask yourself, wow, boy, these guys had it down. Every inch of land that they could put in production, they did.
So in ancient times, old Hawaii, pre-contact, this valley, Kahakaloa Valley, it was cultivated very, very similar to what you have here today, yeah?
Yes.
Wow.
Except in abundance, more in abundance.
Much, yeah.
I would say over maybe 600 taro terraces in
Oh
this
my
valley.
goodness. Oh my goodness, that's huge. You have students come up here and help you.
Yeah, I have students, I have church groups, I have halaus, Boy Scouts, just all kinds of people come to this place. And I love to look at the expressions of them when they leave because you know, they just have peace. There's a sigh of peace in them. You know, they've experienced it, they've enjoyed it, and they appreciate it. And that makes sense. That's where it should be.
What do you see the difference? How would you describe the difference between when they arrive and when they leave?
Well,
What changes happened in them, Oliver?
well, it's just the ignorance of not knowing what's here. And once they come here and see it and become a part of it, then the appreciation kicks in. And now they have a better working knowledge of why it was so important to be self-sustaining. So the more people I can reach, you know, these economic times aren't getting better. We need to look at our resources and appreciate them and put them to better use.
So, Oliver, what is the message that you tell tourists when they come up here about all of this that they see?
Well, basically, we give an overview of the Ahupua'a system.
Right.
How it functioned, how it worked, how unique each Kuleana land was, each piece of land was, and how they had to share the water from mountain to ocean. Also, about being self-sustaining and having a deeper appreciation for the land itself. So when they come up here, they can see what we're doing. And when they get back on the ship, that stays embedded in their mind.
Yes.
And that's what I'm trying to create.
Yeah. Yeah. What is the one thing you want people to take away from visiting here? Take with them that stays with them forever?
Our lifestyle. And how important it was and how unique these early farmers were. How when we speak of technology, these guys had it. And they got it by observation and experience.
How advanced they were back then?
Oh my gosh. We talk about aquaculture. They were doing that way back when. You go into the valley there, way back in, and you look, why is the taro patch 4 feet deep? And they had their fish in there. They didn't have to go all the way to the ocean. They had their fish up there. They know how to acclimate the fish and take it up there.
So they had their supermarket all the way up there.
Their icebox.
Their icebox.
Yeah. So unique people. So when we speak about, when you read your history books about them bartering or exchanging, no, it was just given. Yeah, it was all given with the heart. Our system worked. It worked.
For thousands of years.
Yes, it worked. So why reinvent the wheel? The whole thing here is just to pay respect to the people that work this land, and they put it here. So make use of it and take care of it.
Wow. You know, Oliver, our show Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's Future, it, airs in Hawaii here, but it airs all over the world. I mean, literally in many, many cities in the U.S. and outside the U.S. For people who are watching this today, and this is their first view of something like this, what's the message that you want to leave with them? What is it that you want them to take away from having come along with us today on our visit to your place here?
Well, I'd have to say give us back our right to live who we say we are. It's difficult for us to do that today with the rhetoric in this Western system, with this statutory jurisdiction. And when we talk about truth and justice, in anything, you go back to the inception of what happened. And when you go back to the inception of what happened here, I think things need to be made pono. And if they aren't, we are headed for a collision course.
Things need to be made pono. They need to be made right.
Yes, because we're destroying our land and our resources at a very rapid rate. And why should we? We're in a confined area. We're a chain of islands where we have wonderful trade winds, wonderful showers that come in and nurture our plants, why would we want to destroy that? So we need to get back on track and take a look at the strong possibility of sustaining ourselves as a population, as a populace. And right now we're not doing that. We're waiting for the Matson line to come in. If it doesn't come in, we ain't got it.
The freighters that bring in supplies from everywhere else in the world.
So is that a utopian thought? Will that ever happen? It's happening here right now.
Well, it's happening here right now,
right,
but it also
right.
happened 2,000 years ago.
Yes.
You know, as I'm standing here listening to you, it strikes me as crazy, absolutely insane, that this incredible system used to exist here for thousands of years before the Europeans came here.
Right.
And it got destroyed. And now everything that is eaten and consumed in Hawaii comes from somewhere else,
Right.
because that system no longer exists. And yet the opportunity is to bring that system back.
And when you look at what came here, it is not successful.
Yes.
It has not been successful. It's
Yes.
not being successful right now.
Yes.
So when you look at the deficit of our state system, my gosh, we're going backwards.
It's like propping up a house of cards.
Right.
Yeah.
So you ask for an audit, the audit is vetoed. We need to know the truth of what's going on. How can we correct this mess that we're in? And adding more laws isn't correcting it. Paying attention to the natural things is important. And we need to bear that in mind. Look what happened to Kaholabi.
Yeah.
It just destroyed the whole island.
Yeah.
Because of what? A need to bomb? A need to practice your bombing on foreign land? So I believe the whole issue here lies with the royal patents and the titles to the land, which are important. The problem that we have today is that our people aren't educated enough to know about living this way. So if they got their land back, they wouldn't know how to do it. Yet, these same people are very, very capable of doing it. It's in them, it's in their DNA. And they're just not given that opportunity because of this statute jurisdiction.
So Oliver, what do you think we need to do to get there? To get the people educated, get back on the land, so this can be the norm rather than the exception throughout Hawaii today?
Well, I truly believe that people need to stop talking about who they are and start living who they are. And once you get a multitude of people to start living who they are, more places like this will exist. Just a different attitude, different set of values. We're so programmed. I hate to use that term. The buzzword at one time was colonization of the brain, you know. You only want to be kind of colonized if you want to. And if you're made aware that there is a way to get out of that, to get into this, why not?
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. It's for everybody. And if you share it with everybody, wow. And we have the landmass to do that right now. A place like Honolulu can't do that because they're overpopulated. They've destroyed most of their resources, which is tragic, because Oahu was the most resourceful of all the islands. The aquifers were immense. And look what happened. So we need to learn from that.
Well, you know what, Oliver? It sounds good to me. I'm on board. You can count me in. Mahalo for being on Voices of Truth. It's been awesome.
Very nice having you up here.
It's been great to be here. This is utopia. This is a slice of heaven if there ever was one. Mahalo for joining us on this extraordinary adventure on Voices of Truth one-on-one with Hawaii's future. I'm Ehu Keikahu Cardwell along with Shaka, who's somewhere up there going up the hill in the tea plants, having a good old time today. Remember, you can watch us on the web on voicesoftruth.tv.com. I'm Ehu Keikahu Cardwell, and until next time, ahui ho! Mahalo for watching Voices of Truth One-on-One with Hawaii's Future. Watch us on the web 24/7 at voicesoftruth.tv.com. You'll find all our shows, including this one, in case you want to see it again or share it with family and friends. Also view our weekly video commentaries at freehawaiitv.com. And check out our blog, published daily, at freehawaii.info. It's all part of the Free Hawaii Broadcasting Network.